Yeah, so this movie didn't really... It exceeded my expectations, but in a negative way.
Yeah. It was incredibly visual film,
yes.
but it was a downer. As a Star Wars fan, it was a downer.
But if you think back, The Empire Strikes Back was a downer too. It was a downer.
It was, but it was a different downer. It was more of a.
But they both ended on a bad note for the good side.
For the good side. So we're hoping that the good side comes back in the third one.
Just like the end of episode 1. It had an awesome ending and could stand on its own as a
standalone. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of celebration.
Just like episode 4. That movie can stand on its own too.
Absolutely. New Hope can definitely stand on its own. Sure. Especially after Rogue One. I mean, which we didn't really talk about tonight, but Rogue One, incredible film for me. I love the film. It
could definitely.
It was a war movie. It could stand on its own, and it does. And it leads right into New Hope, episode 4, and you're right.
Isn't that
there.
Awesome?
It is. They captured it perfectly.
Because now you're going to be able to watch the Han Solo movie. Didn't you watch Rogue One?
That would be cool if it leads into that.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be cool if they all led into each other?
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Then you could watch them all like, wow, it's one big story.
That would actually be cool if people were really, if the whole vision was actually.
It'd be like a 6-hour movie.
More than that, jeez.
That would be great.
Wow.
But yeah, I did enjoy the movie, but it was in a very negative light that it ended, and that I left the theater feeling bad.
Me too. I did. I did.
Yeah.
And so did my son and his friend, and we walked out of there. We didn't say shit. And the look on our faces, the people in line to get into the theater looked at our faces, and they looked at us in like disbelief, and our faces were kind of in blank and expressionless.
Yeah. Like, I didn't know what to think. I even didn't.
And I tried. I didn't want to spoil it for them, and I just kind of like whispered, like, I don't know, man.
I didn't even eat dinner after that. I was so depressed. I didn't even want food. So it's like, yeah, it ended on a downer, but it was a fantastic movie. But it affected me negatively.
Yes, it did.
Because of this, just a few certain choices that they made. See, if Luke would have lived, I would have walked out feeling.
I would have feeling better. Yeah.
I've been reassured for the next one.
For the next one, Luke is still alive, and he would have a part in it.
Mm-hmm.
And just
now you can't rule him out because of the Force Ghost thing. He did vanish, just like Yoda.
Well, he could make an appearance, and she's training these new people. I really like where you're going with that.
Don't you? Doesn't that sound great?
I mean, yes, it sounds excellent.
The way they need.
Because the only way they're going to be able to take Kylo Ren down is they're all like probably going to have to gang up on all these young Jedi. Got to like take down Kylo Ren. All these kids.
Yeah, that would be great. But okay, But listen, the Knights of Ren. Where the hell are they? Are they the students that Kylo took with him after he burned the temple?
They were the Supreme Guard that Snoke had. Those were the remainder of the Knights of the Ren. Yeah, because he said he brought some of them with. The other was died. Yeah. In the battle.
But when did they say that was them? Was that in the movie?
It kind of implied it. There was like a flash of it.
I don't think that's them. I don't think that's them.
I think Snoke alluded that was them. I think I saw that.
I don't know. I don't think there's any evidence to support
or deny that. I would agree. I would agree. It's a theory. I mean, it makes sense though. They would have been them because where else would they have gone? They're just flying around the galaxy. No,
or they were doing something.
Snoke had influence over them, and he pulled them in and made them the Supreme Guard.
Okay, that could be. But they never said it.
They didn't have to.
They didn't come out and say it, so you don't know for sure.
We don't. I agree. No plausible, no evidence, but it's plausible.
But I would have liked to know in either way. Was that them, or was it somebody else? He could have trained other people. I mean,
absolutely, I agree with that.
But we saw him in a vision in The Force Awakens just for a little bit, and Snoke referenced him one time.
Yeah.
But
I actually like the Snoke character, believe it or not. That's what. Why?
His part got cut.
Yeah, his part did get cut in several pieces.
And I thought it was funny the way he was laying there, and his tongue was hanging out.
It was great.
So you can definitely, if he wasn't a projection.
his death was like the death of Caesar to me, because I got the impression that Snoke was like Caesar. He was like even above Palpatine. He was, but yeah, I like the idea that he was an out of galaxy entity that could have seen this, that could elude it from that threat outside the galaxy, like in the original story arc, where there was where Palpatine knew that there was a threat from a distant galaxy that was much more powerful than anything they had.
But Sidious was trying to find something.
I like that I can call him Palpatine and still know he's Sidious.
And he had a mention in The Last Jedi when Luke was talking about Darth Sidious, and when he was telling Rey about Darth Sidious, about the Emperor, and how he tricked the Jedi, and then he killed all of them, except for a few that trained him. And then he trained a bunch of them, but they died. And because that's a tragic story for the Jedi. I mean, the Jedi have been purged before in like video games and comic books and stuff like that. They always came back.
I mean, you know, as much as I resist the idea of the Grey Jedi thing, loving playing D&D, I definitely see where you could have chaotic evils, you could have chaotic neutrals, you can have a lot of different. You can have some gray areas where you have characters who have these powers. They're definitely going
to be light side users,
right? I mean, they could be both light and dark.
They could use dark side powers,
right? But then it kind of like evens the field. But then you have like you know.
But the Jedi of the Old Republic were all about the light. They were only in the light.
They were strictly light.
Strictly, right. But you do have to mix them a little bit.
Well, Mace Windu is a fine example. Way too angry to be a Jedi.
He's an angry Jedi.
Very impulsive. Very everything a Jedi shouldn't be. Mace Windu, Master Windu is. And
Master Windu. Well, I did love his character.
He was a very strong character.
Yeah,
you know what? Looking at those movies, as much as I didn't really care for the character, to how angry he was, they picked the right person. I guess I really am going to say, I'm going to come out and say Samuel L. Jackson was the right person to play that role. He came off a little too angry, but I liked him in the role.
I did love the character, and the way Samuel L. Jackson portrayed it was fantastic.
But he was pretty angry.
Yeah.
He was an angry Jedi.
Sure was, but he was the man.
Of course he was the man.
He beat Sidious, man. He had him dead to rights.
He did. He did have him dead to rights. You're right. He did beat him. Kudos, Joe, for pointing that out. That is very, very astute. That's an astute observation. He did have him dead to rights. He killed him. He was going to kill him.
Yep. If Anakin hadn't stopped him, he would have been dead. The Emperor would never have risen.
You know what? That movie is an awesome movie when you really look at it. When you think about it. When you watch it over and over again, which obviously I've seen it many times now. They're endearing. The prequels do have endearing moments. No, that's one of them.
It's nothing like that. It's all a plot by George Lucas. He was so mad that nobody liked his prequel movies. He's like, all right, guess what? I'm going to sell LucasArts to Disney, and they're going to ruin it, and then you're going to see how good they really are. That was Lucas's plan all along. He's like, they don't like my prequels, huh? I'll show them.
Lucas is Sidious.
Lucas
is good. Now you see the full power of my movies.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, we're going to have to end this podcast now. We'd like to thank you for joining us this edition of the Totally Believable podcast with
Nick
and Joe. We'll see you next time on Totally Believable. Oh, yeah.